Breathe by Jameson Fromm. It's an old superstition that you should hold your breath when going through a tunnel. I remember doing it at first when I entered. About a week ago, I was on a road trip with my friends, Frank and Liz. I, at the time, was going through some struggles at home and just wanted to escape them. I remember it like it was yesterday. The loud, cold air shooting through Frank's window, the annoying traffic, all the little things that would have added up to anger didn't. By that point, I was way too apathetic. They say we don't use our active brains when we drive, which ironically allowed for my brain to be overactive for the whole 2 hours. Enough thinking will eventually tire anyone out. I'm sure the others felt similar. Usually we would joke and banter. I knew they were both trying to escape too. I think that I was scared. Back home I had to face my worries and fears, but on the road, I didn't. By now you're probably wondering what we were running away from. What made me so eager to lock myself in a metal box? Well, Liz had left 4 days before her wedding. She loved her fiancé, but the last few months had been hell for her. Liz and her fiancé were both famous in their friend groups for being perfectionists. I mean that in the literal sense, rather than the cliché job interview lie. When we were in school, Liz would destroy herself, staying up all night perfecting assignments, and when we would go to gatherings she planned, it would be very clear she was on edge, trying to make sure everything went perfect, often backfiring like a Greek parable. With all of this applied to her wedding, she couldn't take it. Enough thinking will tire anyone out. Frank was running away from his job as a garbage man. He hated it and would complain about it every time we hung out. Although, Frank complained about a lot of things. I once got annoyed at him for continuously bringing up this movie he hated at every chance he got, a movie that I hadn't seen and had very little interest in. I got particularly upset because I was trying to tell him something important. After that, he confessed he was just looking for a reason to complain because he liked doing it. I can't relate to that. Whenever I think about things that annoy me, I just get annoyed. I can't blame him, though, since Frank was also the funniest guy I knew, and his complaints often made me chuckle. However, it seems like he got himself a bit too caught up in his eternal internal monologue and said something he regretted to his boss. Now, don't ask me about the garbage man hierarchy and how it works. All I know is that he made someone important mad and hasn't heard from them since. He didn't get fired yet, but he strongly suspected he was going to be fired. He told me that he thinks he deserves it. He got caught up in his own head, he said. So, that brings us all the way down the list to me. The only problem is I'm not actually sure why I was running. I think it's a mix of everything. I really don't want to give a whole life story. Thinking about things that annoy me only makes me more annoyed. So, on that fateful day, we all predictably sat in silence as I played Frank's heavy metal CDs as high as I could. We couldn't get service where we were. As I went into the tunnel, I said, "There's a tunnel coming up. Hold your breath." The others humored me, and we breathlessly drove. However, the tunnel just kept going and going. Eventually, I had to breathe. 10 minutes passed, and it was still tunnel. All the cars in front of us had seemed to vanish when I blinked. I thought this was some sort of dream. 10 more minutes passed, and Liz started freaking out. A few more, and we all did. I don't know what happened, but it's been a week, and we are still in the tunnel.